afternoon. Welcome. I am Steve Thomas at Choice Minis on your social media of choice. I am joined by my friend, favored of the sun god Ra, and Dodger of Storms, Beach_vacation_Mando on Instagram. Adam Grimm, how you doing tonight, brother?
Pretty good. Didn't work today. Got rained out.
Got rained out?
Well, the site I was on can't work on if it's wet.
Jester of Death 82 said hey.
What up, Jester?
It's that first site I was on in the beginning of the season, and we're just kind of going back to do touch-ups and just kind of some general maintenance of the site, especially with how much it's rained. We've had some washout in some areas that we've been fixing up, so we're hoping our precautionary measures that we did this week worked. We'll find out tomorrow.
Is this where you were playing with straw sausages? Or strausages, as I earlier alluded them to?
Yes, strausages were placed and staked. Wednesday, I swung a sledgehammer for like 8 hours.
Ooh. 8 hours of sledgehammering sounds like you should be a blacksmith of some sort.
Yeah. It was
like literally we should be getting like glaives or something out of this deal. Not just straw sausages that are more firmly attached to the ground than normal.
Jester of Death 82 said working, only 7 hours to go.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a eventful day. I drank way too much coffee and played a lot of Fallout 4.
Oh man, too much coffee. Did we start ascending while we were drinking coffee? Did we get to like nervous jitters point of coffee drunk?
No, I'm just at that like really good point right before the nervous jitters hit.
That's fun. My favorite is always riding that awesome edge between coffee nervous jitters and nicotine serious focus time. That's where I like to live my life. It's not a good place to live my life, but that's where I choose to live it in nonetheless.
That's fair. Sad news about MechWarrior 5.
Well, what's that?
They did a patch for the game and it broke the mech lab.
Oh no.
So when you go to repair mechs and replace any destroyed weapons or destroyed equipment like heat sinks or ECM pods or superchargers or anything like that, if you have more than one in your inventory, when you put, let's say I was fixing my Hunchback and he lost an arm because I had one of my AI pilots using him, and it was definitely a bit of a difficult mission to have a guy in a 50-ton mech. So I have like 26 level 2 medium lasers. So I went and put one on just as I had heard rumors about this thing, but I'd heard it mostly from people who have the game from Steam.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, okay, I have it on Epic because I got it at launch. And that's what the platform they decided to launch it on. But yeah, it is a platform wide.
So it ate all of your, I'm assuming it ate all of your medium lasers?
Yeah, I put one on and my inventory went to 0.
That is a pain in the butt.
Yeah. But luckily, I just reverted to the save before I did that and then stopped playing. I mean, I only played today just to see if that was actually true. And if it wasn't true, I was going to play that, and it turned out to be true, so I'm not playing it.
That sucks.
Until it gets fixed.
That's fair. That sounds fair. So, 7 hours of work left to go, Jester. That sounds all right. And by all right, I mean like, hey, I'm glad you're here with us. I'm glad that we can provide you with some entertainment while you continue to work. I am, of course, off this week, so this is day number 3 in a row of being live. We are back doing our Revenant thing. I'm gonna get this Revenant done. We are gonna get it done. I decided that I'm gonna work a little bit on adding some cool tones to the model because, as you guys can tell, our model here is very, very warm toned all the way through right now. So we're gonna work a little bit to get some contrast of hue put into all this. So that's of course gonna come across in a couple of colors. So I've got a very bluish green out of our dark forest green from Scale Color, and Mediterranean blue, which is just about the bluest blue that Scale Color gives us. And well, short of going to some of the other colors.
Said packing other people's hobby supplies.
Well, I mean, good that other people are getting their hobby supplies. Sad that that is, you know, like the everyday, but like it could be both much better and much worse, I guess.
Yes. Sean will not be joining us tonight. I believe he's working till 8. I think he might be able to catch the end of the stream.
Nice. I miss that guy.
Yeah, he's been really unlucky with the shifts lately, where he's been working like off Monday and Wednesdays, and working like Tuesday, Thursday, Fridays and stuff. So
Yeah, it happens. I just happen to be off this week, so I get all the time in the world to play with my hobbies. So I'm starting off tonight. I'm just gonna finish up this shield. That's where we're gonna start incorporating some of these cooler tones in. So we're gonna be using our dark forest green. We're gonna be using it on both the shield here to bring out some more of the green color in the shield, as well as in other places on the model. But you know, we'll get there. We will get there. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I spent most of today doing pretty much nothing.
Death 82 said, I'm just hanging for tomorrow. Got 2 online
yeah,
classes to attend.
I pretty much scrap. I did get distracted earlier making big breakfast with Jamie, and I made a double-decker bacon and egg sandwich, and it was quite lovely.
In my parlance, the double-decker breakfast sandwich is most definitely the Breakfast Club. Especially if you can get some turkey bacon in there. That is... Not that I'm a huge fan of turkey bacon in other circumstances, especially where it's trying to pretend to be bacon. Not a huge fan of it pretending to be bacon. But I am a huge fan of it in breakfast clubs for some reason. That is the application where I'm like, ooh, turkey bacon belongs here.
Yeah, like, you know, I'm also not a huge fan of turkey bacon, but like, you know, if I am coming in with real bacon, I'm okay.
Oh yeah, no. There's got to be real bacon on that sandwich too. But like turkey bacon plus bacon, that's the sort of thing I can get behind. So you guys can sort of see where we're going with this shield situation. We're going to be using these this green up in a lot of places actually. So we're going to be using it on the staff as well as into the horns at the bottom, and then we're also going to fade it up into the purple at the top of these horns. But let's stop talking about it and let's get down to business.
Red Wolf said, hi all.
What up, Red Wolf? How you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. Well, welcome back to the stream. So, again, this is Dark Forest I was about to call it Dark Forest Purple. Good God. You can tell I don't have talkie days some days, because some days, like, the first time that I say anything other than, like, good morning to roommates is, like, when I get on stream with you, bud. I mean, me and I have had more conversations than that today, but, like, not a whole lot more. It's been a pretty, like, low-key, lots of research day. Yeah. I am planning our first, or our... Whenever I can actually get it, I am gonna try and get us back out to the cabin for D&D Ken, now that we can play D&D together one more time, or again, you know, now that we are slowly getting over COVID.
Slowly. I'm waiting. I'm not really holding my breath until after the COVID rodeo.
Listen, just because we're gonna create our own brand new COVID variant known as COVID Yeehaw.
The
listen,
Yeehaw strain of COVID.
Yeah, it's going to be the Yeehaw variant, I guess. I don't want to make too much fun of Calgary, but like we are definitely peaking Delta variant cases right now, combined with bringing in just a lot of anti-vaxxers. It's gonna be a time. It's gonna be a good old time where the rest of Canada makes fun of us for slowly dying of COVID, and we would deserve it.
Yeah, and it's not like, you know, it's not like it's all of Alberta. It's just Calgary.
Oh yeah.
Like Edmonton's like, oh, we could have K days, and they're like, you know what? Let's wait another year. And everyone's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. That's cool. Good idea. Calgary's like, screw it. Stampede.
Let's have a stampede, y'all.
Yeah.
And,
Horrible idea.
and-
Like,
Listen, it's not necessarily gonna be a horrible idea. I mean, it will be. It will turn out that way. But like, if everybody did everything absolutely correctly, and like there wasn't a bunch of people getting drunk in a tent called Nashville North and taking their masks off and making out with random strangers, we'd probably be okay. But that's not how this is gonna go down. What are you up to tonight, Red Wolf? What is everybody up to tonight? Other than packing boxes full of other people's hobby supplies. Don't get me wrong, Jester. That sounds kind of ideal as far as a job goes to me. There was a brief period of time where I almost ended up owning a board game store with like my brother and a bunch of his rich friends. They're all lawyers and doctors and engineers and whatnot. So they were like, "Do you want to run a game store for us?" And then they started getting real serious about it. And I was like, "I don't know if you guys are actually serious. Like, are you guys 100% behind this?" And they were like, "Yeah, we're 100% behind this." And then instead, like, they basically not lost interest in it, but the guy who was spearheading it decided to try and get his game published instead. He is a doctor who is
said painting Star Wars Legion.
Nice. I love Legion. Well, I haven't painted a lot of Legion in the past or since the starter set came out, but yeah, that was
super fun. I enjoyed the few games of Legion we played.
Yeah. Well, I do have a nice big, well, and by nice big, I mean like a regular Legion-sized Legion board around here that is made up to look like, what's it called? The one from Rogue One from the beginning.
The Black Sand Planet.
Yeah. Because, every planet only has one biome on it, and that was the one that was black sandy and was actually filmed in, I want to say Norway, maybe Iceland. I don't remember. It's one of the two.
Yeah, I think it's Iceland.
See, I want to say it's Norway, but again, we could both be wrong, and it could have been filmed in, like, Sweden or Finland, possibly? I feel like it wasn't filmed in Finland. I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of what Finland looks like, and that's not it.
Yeah, it could also have been Greenland.
Maybe, but I don't think so. Just because it's filming in Greenland is a giant pain, and even though Star Wars has gone to Tunisia several times to film, I just don't feel like Disney Star Wars would put out the cash to film there.
82. Said that's the one thing that annoys me about Star Wars planets.
Opening scene of Rogue One was filmed on the dark southern coast of Iceland.
There we go.
Means I'm assuming they have more than one shade of dirt there.
That wouldn't surprise me in the least. That's actually like one part of the planet I have never been to and always kind of wanted to go to is like Iceland, Finland, Norway, like the Nordic. I guess that would count as the Scandinavian countries. No, wait, Scandinavia has Denmark included in it.
Yeah, so it'd be Greenland, Iceland, Denmark, Norway, Finland, and I'm missing one, aren't I?
Yeah, the Nordic countries is a specific. They differentiate between themselves. So it's like saying the Maritimes versus saying Atlantic Canada. Or the EU versus saying, like, the EU plus Great Britain.
Okay, here's a complete list of the Nordic countries. Oh, actually, this is a good one. This is the difference between Scandinavian and Nordic.
Ooh. That's what we were looking for.
So Scandinavian would be Denmark, Sweden, and Norway.
Yep. That's what I figured.
And then Nordic countries would be Iceland, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and Finland.
There we go.
And then if you want to get the Baltic countries, that's Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania.
Yes. Which I think you can still rent out the entire country of Estonia for a few €1,000 a night, if I remember correctly. That used to be a thing that you were able to do. It seemed like fun. I would rent an entire country if I had a few €1,000 sitting around that I wasn't doing much with. I mean, in the big scheme of things, it's a great story. Hey, did you know that I rented all of a country for an evening?
What's it cost you? Oh, a couple $1,000s.
Exactly. And everybody would be like, well, what did you do while you were there? And I'd be like, really not much. I mean, it was a couple grand. I didn't really have like a ton of money left over. I really didn't plan this out well. And then everybody would be like, yeah, that sounds about like you. So I'm just coming in right now. I just want to catch some of these edges and stuff with our more pronounced green colors. So this is scale color fall green. And I'm just going to put this into some of the corners that I don't necessarily want dark green. But I also don't want to be our like pallid, not pallid, our more subdued, desaturated color here. So again, mostly around the tops of the shield and stuff. Just trying to get some color in. Trying to give a little bit of modulation to this part of the shield in particular. But, yeah. So what are you painting for Legion right now? The one that I always wanted to paint for Legion that wasn't around when I was still painting Legion stuff on the reg, because it hadn't come out yet, was Death Troopers and Orson Krennic, because Orson Krennic is probably my favorite Star Wars bad guy. And yes, that includes Boba Fett and Darth Vader and the Emperor.
I like Thrawn.
Oh yeah, I like Thrawn too, but I guess I've forgotten that he was actually a canon character now.
Yeah, because they made him canon again in Rebels. Because he wasn't canon for a while, because he doesn't really appear in Star Wars until like the Heir to the Empire series.
Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire, yeah. They also retroactively put him into a couple of other things too. They put him in into Star Wars TIE Fighter. And I'm trying to think of what the other one was that they put him into. Oh, was he in Dash Rendar?
Shadows of the Empire.
Shadows of the Empire. Isn't he in that too?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Another Boba's in there, NIG-88. Just felt like that might have been one of the ones that they had thrown him in, because there was a while there where like Lucas was totally willing to throw him in all sorts of things. Back when George Lucas had anything to do with Star Wars still. Before they were like, no, George. We gave you a lot of money to stop this. He was like, yeah, but I still have plans and opinions.
Ingvar_Red Wolf said clones Shadow Pack.
Nice. Yeah, I like the idea of the Clone Wars. I guess for me, the thing that I would love to see in Legion is a viable third faction. So, like a Scum and Villainy faction would really be the thing that would be my jam. Like, can I just have like a whole bunch of like Gamorreans or like, oh, what's Bosk's actual species? Transdosians or like
Devorians.
Yeah, just like, or a bunch of Twi'leks. I don't care. Like, I take a bunch of Twi'leks as like a bunch of like sniper assassin dudes. Like, I really would love a Scum and Villainy faction, or just a bunch of regular humans that are mercenaries. And like, I think that would be a ton of fun. Like, honestly, I think that would be a great old time, and something that they could really do to expand it, because they did it with when, like, I know that Legion is now a part of Atomic Mass instead of being a part of Fantasy Flight, but they did it in X-Wing. Like, they gave X-Wing the Scum and Villainy, and you got, like, the Starfighter, the Star Viper. What else? Like, you got a whole bunch of stuff in the Scum and Villainy faction, so...
You got, like, the Z98 Headhunter?
Z95s were Rebel first.
Yeah.
Because the Z95 Headhunter is also in the Rebel fleet. It's just... It's a less cool version of the X-Wing / a less cool version of the A-Wing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's basically an X-Wing that doesn't have the X-Wing wings.
Yeah, it just has like one set of wings instead of two. It's a monoplane instead of a biplane.
Yeah. I mean, they look cool. In the Star Wars like Expanded Universe books, Han Solo and Leia's youngest daughter pilots a customized Z95.
Hey, if we want to talk about cool things that happen in the extended universe, I'm totally for it. But we don't get to get any further into it than one of IG-88 is the Death Star computer for the second Death Star, which is just, again, my favorite bit of like weird trivia is that IG-88 is the second Death Star computer because he got bored and sent one of 4 of him to be the Death Star computer.
He also made droid stormtrooper puppets, sort of, like that he controlled.
Oh yeah.
And actually, during, just before the, I think it was during the early stages of the Rebel attack on the Death Star, one of them was crushed by a falling cargo container, and then the cargo container slid, and people were like, well, that's a droid. Because there's no, like, goo smear.
Yeah, why
and
isn't
then
there...
IG-88's like, I can't get caught, so he blows up the cargo bay on it, like, himself.
Makes sense. I do like how IG-8 is not a great tactician ever. Like there's no tactical element of what he does where you're like, oh yeah, no, that's a sound tactical decision. It's always like, well, overwhelming firepower or suicide, one way or the other. Which I'm not gonna lie to you, if I ever accidentally ended up in war, those would probably be my tactical choices as well. Okay guys, we're going in with overwhelming firepower. It seems that we do not have overwhelming enough firepower. Give up, I guess?
Yeah, like, by the end of, like, the rebellion, isn't there only one IG-88 unit left, the original one?
I have no idea. I know that he's originally 4. Yeah. I know that one of them dies just because of the Bounty Hunter books. I know, or book, I guess, Tales of the Bounty Hunter. I know that one of them dies as the Death Star computer, and he's still super stoked that he is the Death Star computer. So, like...
Yeah, I do remember that one. I remember when he gets activated, and there's, like, a prototype assassin droid that they activate, and then, like, it just goes off on its own.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember what story that was in, but I do sort of remember that plot line. I know that one of them canonically, well, I guess Legends now, dies to Dash Rendar.
Yeah.
Because that was canon for a very, very long time, which was great because I liked the comic book series the most out of all of Shadows of the Empire, but like the game was good. Like the game wasn't better than Dark Forces, but it was good.
I finished it a few times.
Yeah, I mean, I had a computer at the time, like I was running PC Master Race, and it wasn't, like, it was a console game, so it was running on N64, at least the version that I played, and I gotta say the N64 version was not as good as it could have been. Maybe that has changed, maybe there was updates or something, I don't know how there would have been those things, but like, I remember the game being a little janky playing it, but again, this is a memory of 20 years ago. There was other Star Wars, I gotta say, like, my favorite Star Wars related thing was definitely still TIE Fighter. Like, the entire TIE Fighter, X-Wing, TIE Fighter, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter was probably my favorite series of games. I'm a little sad that I didn't get into whatever it was that came up this year. Or last year.
Star Wars Squadrons.
Squadrons, thank you. I was trying to remember the name. I'm a little sad I didn't get into Squadrons, but also, like, I don't play a whole lot of video games, so I can't. Yeah, like, it's not video games' fault. It's definitely my fault. It's just I didn't get there, and that's a little sad to me because I love those games.
TIE Fighter.
What was
So
your
I had
guys?
X-Wing versus TIE Fighter.
Yeah, that was the third one in the series. So TIE Fighter was the second one. And it was great. It had an awesome story. You became like the Emperor. First of all, you spent a lot of the game hunting down other parts of the Empire that were like, we're going to go into active rebellion against the Emperor. And the Emperor was like, okay, go kill those fools. And then 3 of them that Emperor, like, and he was a leader in that way. Like, he wasn't about to like hop in a TIE Defender and like murder people with you, but Vader would hop in a TIE Defender and murder people with you. He was like, "Oh, we're going out murdering? All right, I'm in. Let's do some murder. I'll bring my wingman. You can even be my wingman." And I was like, "Oh, thank you, Lord Vader." And the Emperor was like, "I really like that you guys did all of those murders in the air. Have some medals and become a part of a secret society that has to do with being my personal badasses." It was great. I love that game.
I know a lot about Thrawn. His race is really interesting.
Let me study your art so that I can know how to kill you more better.
Yeah. They have like their own separate empire that is like just beyond the Outer Rim.
Huh.
And they have like a different version. Their blasters are more powerful than like the common blasters.
All right.
But they also like, more powerful, fewer shots, stuff like that. But they're all, every member of the race is trained to be like some form of soldier, whether it's like, infantry, a pilot, starship crew member kind of thing.
All right.
That's just what they all get trained to do. It's like they're basically like there's permanent, like a permanent conscription where everyone's got to serve for a little bit, and then you can serve your term, and then go off to do whatever you want or stay in. And Thrawn did that, and then he got brought in by, I can't remember which admiral actually brings him into the Imperial fold, and I just really enjoyed the fact that he is unique within the Empire, where he's one of the few aliens to.
I was gonna say he is the highest ranking alien in the Empire.
Yeah,
At least at the time of like, yeah.
Yeah, the Empire is super racist against anyone who's not like human. Most aliens just end up as like janitors.
Listen, if I had to be, if I was going to be a part of the Galactic Empire, I'm pretty sure I'd be happy just being a janitor. Like I wouldn't necessarily need to be in charge of like making sure that Luke Skywalker is dead. That sounds like a job that doesn't have a lot of room for advancement and an awful lot of being choked by my boss. Those sound like things I don't want to deal with on a regular, ongoing basis. So if I were to like dibs no to that sounds like if there were a possibility for me to dibs not into getting force choked by my boss on a regular basis, I would take that route.
This conversation actually reminds me of a Robot Chicken skit, where it is about the janitors on the Death Star.
This sounds like the discussion in what's it called? Clerks, where they're talking about whether or not the like plumbing installers and whatnot on the second Death Star are willing participants in fascism or not.
Said I am part of the Galactic Empire. I'm a
Yeah,
biker scout
they
and soon to be
totally
a
are.
Tusken
They are.
Raider.
I mean, they just use like Star Wars action figures in Robot Chicken, so it's just stormtroopers. But they're definitely like mopping like the bottom of the shaft, and then the Emperor's body just like hits the bottom and like kind of explodes, and they're like, yeah, I quit.
Yeah,
And they both just leave.
Yep. Sounds about right. The first time somebody got force choked around me, I'd be like, you know what? I'll take the death penalty. It's fine. It's fine. I'm cool with it. I don't need to be a part of the evil fasci organization. I know what we're about. It's cool. It's cool that that's what you guys want to do, but I'm a head out. I'm not right for this position. Also, apparently, Jester is packing hobby supplies for other people as a part of being a part of the Galactic Empire, so I don't know how to deal with that in particular. Those two things seem incongruent to me, but I'll believe you on that one, man. I'm not going to test you on it, because that sounds like the type of thing that ends up with me getting choked out for having a disturbing lack of faith. Listen, I'm just going to keep pulling on lines from Daddy Vader and using them to make everybody uncomfortable. Uncomfortable because of the tightness in their pants, as I keep referring to him as Daddy Vader. Would he be Danikin? Is that better or worse?
Or
Choke
Darth
me.
Daddy.
Choke me, Daddy, son. I don't know how well. Most people should know this. Most Star Wars fans know this. Vader.
82 said, "I'm a member of the 501st Costume Club."
Oh, nice. That's really cool. Jester of Death. I really wanted to do a 501st officer, so I just have never gotten my act together to actually get the uniform bits. But like Imperial Officer / Imperial Engineering Corps is really the uniforms that I would want to chase with that one. I don't think I could get enough of myself organized to get Stormtrooper together. And Jedi always seemed like the easy way out. I know that it's not. I know that everybody who is involved in 501st, if you want to get your uniform like certified, absolutely is like a commitment no matter which costume you take. But it seems like a bath towel and
Jester of Death 82
Cossack seems the
officer
easiest.
is pretty easy to do.
Yeah. Officer, well, officer and engineer are both pretty easy to do because it's a tunic, a pair of pants, and some boots, and a belt. And your rank insignia. Like, that's really all you gotta get together. Not like Adam and his crazy Mandos.
Yeah.
If you want to do a 501st...
build to...
Yeah, if you do a 501st Mando, the requirements for it keep getting more and more, I don't want to say ridiculous, but like demanding, right? Because they want it to be screen accurate, so...
And even like the Mando Mercs Club is pretty strict with their stuff.
Yeah, I think that Mando Mercs is taking over from 501st for Mandalorian stuff, because A, it's a lot to keep track of because of the TV series, and B, 501st is already gigantic as far as like organizing costuming standards for cosplay for the volunteer stuff, so... At least it is here in our hometown. Like, the 501st is actually gigantic. There's like a few hundred people in 501 Calgary.
Yeah, there is exactly one Mando Merc in Calgary.
See? Not so bad.
I met him. He's not a cool dude. He's kind of...
Oh. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. It's actually, I talked to him at the Comic-Con, the last one I was able to go to, and which was a couple months before I bought my armor and stuff, and I wanted to talk to him about stuff, kind of like about and stuff, and just like, kind of ask for his help and like recommendations on Greeblies and whatnot, and he kind of just brushed it all off.
Huh.
I was like, cool, well,
Jester of Death 82 said 180 members in my garrison.
Wow. That's a pretty good showing, man. I know that we're a city of 1 million people, and we happen to be a fairly wealthy city, so... And we have a gigantic number of nerds. Like a disproportionate number of nerds, I feel like, to the size of our city. There are a lot of nerdy professions that are very well paid in this town, so... We have a very well-funded 501st. At least as far as I remember. Maybe it's gotten smaller, but like the last time I went to a Star Wars premiere and they had members of the 501st, I was talking with them, and yeah, if I remember, it was well over 250 members. So like I'm thinking like 275, 280 at that point, and that was I don't know. The last time I saw them at a premiere was probably Rise of the Skywalkers. Yeah, that seems about right. It was the last one. It was Rise of Skywalkers, so.
Jester of Death 82 said, my garrison is my state. It's about the size of Texas.
Your state is the size of Texas? Is your state Texas? I know you live in a different country, but like... You're in Oz, aren't you? I'm gonna keep referring to it as Oz until somebody says, say the full word, and then I will go back to saying Australia, but for now I'm having fun calling it Oz. Feels whimsical.
It is pretty whimsical.
I mean, there's not much that's whimsical about their, like, you know, flora and fauna. It's a bush that just, if you touch it, basically makes you be in so much pain you want to commit suicide.
Jester of Death 82
Seems like something that shouldn't exist.
said, my state is NSW.
Oh, okay. Are you in Sydney, or are you actually out somewhere more fun? I mean, I shouldn't be prying into where exactly you live, but, like, I'm gonna do it anyway, because, you know, I think there's only, like, 3 or 4 of us on right now, so. Also, I constantly reveal too many personal details about myself. I feel like between Adam and I, we've revealed enough personal information that
Uber underscore Red Wolf said, ask him about a drop bear.
Listen, I am contemplating changing all of our channel elements to just drop bears. There was a brief part of me that was like, I should start making custom emotes for the channel, and I'm just gonna make them all drop bears.
Theory.
Jester of Death 82 said, Newcastle, slightly more fun than Sydney.
So, like, you know, we can agree that they are koalas, but after reading about them on Tuesday, and that they are essentially koalas are drug addicts, right?
Oh yeah, no, koalas spend all their time blasted on eucalyptus.
Yes. Drop bears are koalas going through withdrawals.
Oh yeah, koalas that aren't high are also much more territorial and aggressive. Also, when they get all horned up, they definitely become tiny little fuzzballs made of jerk. And yes, I agree, Newcastle is significantly more fun than Sydney. 100% agreed. And I'm not just saying that because you're on stream. I've lived in, well, I've lived in Sydney and toured around, well, all of New South Wales. I mean, I didn't go to the interior, I didn't go to the outback, and I didn't go to Perth, but like basically everywhere else in Australia. Canberra is a lovely town. There are too many G-men that live there. It was less fun than I imagined it was going to be, even though the city itself is beautiful. And really, I mean, there's something wrong with Sydney. It's just, I don't know, it's another big city. Like, it's another big metropolitan city in the middle of a world full of big metropolitan cities. It felt pretty similar to being in the States, to be honest with you, but except for everybody was nicer and coffee culture is 1,000 times better, but other people will argue with me about that, so meh. Alright, we're getting close on this shield. How are we feeling about this shield? Are we feeling well protected?
The colors on that shield.
Thanks, man. There's still some more blending to do. I guess I would actually have to, like, mix more actual colors as opposed to doing it in 10,000 transparent or translucent layers, but now is not the time to give up on smooth blending.
Did you hear about the new Marvel show that got announced today?
Is it What Ifs? Because I think that What Ifs, it wasn't announced today, it got its trailer today.
Oh, I didn't see that. I just read a whole bunch of articles about it. I haven't seen the trailer, so I assumed it was announced today.
Jester of Death 82
I was just really
said, "That's
excited when
nice."
I was reading like some of what some of the episodes are going to be.
Yeah, no, they went through, and I think that there is the first full trailer for What If came out today. What If was announced at the same time that Falcon and Winter Soldier was. It's just that it's animated, so they kept it a little bit like more in the background. And I was a little surprised that MODOK managed to come out before What If, because MODOK was definitely announced afterwards, so I'm assuming that they had script troubles, because it's normally like, well, you can, I used to listen to Dan Harmon's podcast all the time. Dan Harmon, creator of Rick and Morty, Community, several other things. But I used to listen to his podcast, and it takes about 2 years from turning in a script to getting episodes normally. Like 18 months, 2 years is kind of the fastest you can do it. So it was just one of those things that it wouldn't have surprised me if it took them a little longer to get the What Ifs past the Disney don't mess our characters up too bad police. How are we feeling about our...
I was excited when I saw the Captain Carter one. I was like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen the trailer yet. I've spent most, as I said, I'm doing research for D&D right now. I'm trying to come up with the central idea for our D&D can, our next D&D can. So I've been doing a lot of research into things that I would like to make a story about, because that's how I do story writing, is a lot of research. It is a lot of me trying to figure out mechanics that I find interesting and story concepts that I think would be engaging for us to spend a weekend contemplating and thinking about. I mean, I did really enjoy the 2 hours of debate where we basically had to stop playing so you guys could decide whether or not you trusted Odin, so whether or not Odin was lying to y'all, whether or not you guys were going to be Odin's slaves or not, whether it was a good idea to just believe Odin and go with it or go with his daughters, because, well, not canonically his daughters in Norse mythology, but in this case we were treating the Valkyrie as his daughters, because I took some liberties.
That's pretty fair.
But, you know, I like to spend a while thinking about what we're gonna play and what I'd like you guys to experience when we play together. Wait a minute. Oh no, not until next weekend. I was like, do we have actual D&D this weekend? But no, we have actual D&D next weekend. Our first return to in-person Dungeons and Dragons in over a year. So I'm using Birch right now to just pick out some of the edges on our shield here. I want to make sure that there are nice crisp lines around these designs. I want the design to look very intentional and sharp. So the best way I can think to do that is just give some of the upward facing lines an extra bit of highlight here as I go through, and reinforce the shape as well, like on both sides. I am going through and darkening down the background where I think it needs it to. You guys just saw me introduce some really, really dark blue into some of the corners just to add some interest into this shape, into this filigree, so it looks like there's varying depths to it. Sorry, let's make sure that it's actually on the stream. And then we're gonna go through and make sure that we've got it all nicely cleaned up so that it is very crispy. I like nice crispy details when we're looking at carved shields and stuff like that. When we're looking at made objects, especially, you know, like made objects that heroes are holding, it pays to make sure that all of our lines are as crisp as we can possibly make them. Just, it makes the paint job actually look like it was done by somebody halfway competent. And sometimes I'm at least halfway competent at doing paint jobs. I'd say like 3/4 competent most of the time. Let's do some more work on these horns. While I'm working on these horns, you know what we should talk about, Adam?
The news?
The news! All right. I love this. This makes me excited for Saturday. You know what this is, Adam? This is them releasing new bomb squigs and spilling the beans on variants for our squig riders. For if they're talking about this now, that means that they've got more than this that's coming out on Saturday, and man, am I stoked.
Yeah, I saw a close-up of what looks like a new...
Said news is loud.
Apparently the news is loud.
Yeah, sorry, news intro is very loud. I will make news intro less loud. Next time?
Yeah, next time? I saw one, it was kind of like one of those ones where like they only show like a portion of the new mini. And it happens to be what I'm going to assume is a Beast Snaga's war boss.
Yeah,
I'm hoping so, because he's got all sorts of Amy bits.
Yeah, he's got a target squig on his back.
Yeah.
That's linked up to a shooter that's mounted on his shoulder.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to see what comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got our Pain Boy. We've seen him before, but he also has a Pain Grat, which not only is a Pain Grat, he is a Pain Grat, a unicycle Pain Grat. This is amazing. I love GW's like new trend with orcs to give them little Grot friends. This is my favorite. I mean, this definitely beats out Age of Sigmar 3's Pot Grot by a long shot. Just absolutely no contest on this one.
One cool thing about the new Pain Boy is he has multiple heads and multiple left arms.
Yeah.
'Cause I've seen pictures of a few different heads. This one here's like the most common one. It's probably going to be like the box art one. But yeah, the other one, the other arm, like
Yeah, we've seen a couple of different variants on that arm.
Yeah, it looks cool. I'm excited for the new orcs. Like Beast Snaggers or normal new orcs. I don't care. I'm just excited that the orcs are finally getting a little bit of love.
Porque no los dos, or no los dos. Why not both? I'd be happy if it was just all orcs this weekend and they came out with the Snagas box as well as our High Fleet Leviathan and regular orc box. That'd be cool.
Yeah, because we've only seen one image of the new boys, but so we haven't actually seen what other sculpts will be in there. But if they're anything like the one we saw, they're gonna be pretty good.
Yep. There is also another sneak peek of something. This to me looks like Mega Boss armor. Maybe not Mega Boss armor, but definitely boss armor of some sort. I could be wrong, but this is probably, or it could be another new gargantuan squig. We got the two colossals from goodness me, when was that? That was like 3-4 years ago now, wasn't it?
Yep.
And yeah, I'd be happy to see something that is that size again. Who knows? We'll see on Saturday, but yeah, I'm excited to see more of this. More of this, please.
Because for a long time, the only gargantuan squig you could get was from Forge World.
Yeah, and then we got the pack where it was 2 colossal squigs in one box. News 2. Speaking of Forge World, this is like the 3rd or 4th time that I've seen rumors, not just on Spiky Bits. I chose Spiky Bits as the place, but this has been something that's been rumored for a while. There is a new edition of 30K coming at some point in the near future. There has been leaks of box photos. To me, this looks like we're looking at Imperial Fist versus probably, I don't know. What do you think, Adam?
That is the non-Imperial Fist minis there are looking terribly Sons of Horsey to me. In fact, those are exactly Sons of Horus.
Yeah, and I thought that too. Here's the deal is I know that this is a weird connection to make, but there is Luna Wolves Green out there now. Like, it is one of the colors that GW came out with while they were doing the whole, like, let's launch a bunch of new colors along with,
Damn it, GW, you can't even keep your own fluff straight.
Yeah.
Luna Wolves never green. They're white.
Luna Wolves were, or is it Sons of Horus that were green?
Sons of Horus were green, because they were Luna Wolves first, and then after the Ulnar Crusade, and he was given the title of War Master, the Emperor was like, hey, you should change it to the Sons of Horus. He's like, no, I don't want to do that. That smacks of, like, you know, just being super egotistical. And then it's after the murder campaign that Sanguinus convinces Horus to be like, no, do it. Like, we're your brothers. We've got your back. And then he made the change. And apparently the last loyal Luna Wolf is the Half-Herd.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. I definitely have read those books, but my brain is becoming mush as I talk through this, so I'll think of it in a minute. But that's not the only rumor coming out of Forge World. The things that we're hearing now is that everything from Forge World is going to be plastic. We're going to start seeing the end of resin models all across Games Workshop, period. So we won't be seeing Games Workshop like resin fine cast. We won't be seeing metal cast stuff anymore. It will be exclusively exclusively everything in GW plastic, which also means that there's a good, yeah, okay, those are definitely Sons of Horus. I just saw another photo. Those are definitely Sons of Horus.
I really like that kind of pale avocado green they chose for the Sons of Horus.
Yeah, man. This is the same thing that everybody's been saying for the last little while. Almost everything on Forge World is almost always out of stock now. They're having trouble keeping stock, so if they're gonna do a 30k reboot and keep it in Forge World, or keep Forge World a separate thing, that Forge World is gonna change pretty significantly, so it's more in line with the production. And this makes sense, right? Like if I were running GW, these are like things that we would, or things I would definitely want investigated. Can we shorten down all the supply chain? Can we eliminate entire product lines simply by saying we're not doing fine cast models anymore? We are exclusively working in our own plastics. And even though Forge World is always going to be lower volume, it's non-core GW product. Fine. I guess it still should exist out there. We should still have $7,000 Imperial class Titans and whatnot, but like, maybe it doesn't really need to exist. That is also a rumor. I know that we talked about that rumor not too long ago, that Forge World was just going to be gone, and possibly 30k 2.0 was just going to be run directly into Games Workshop, and it would just become a Games Workshop game. So who knows? It wouldn't surprise me if that happens, but yeah. Now,
actually, that does go along with some of the rumors I've been hearing in the one DKOK group I'm in, where we're starting to get flooded with rumors of plastic DKOK to go along with the fact that they have actual official GW published rules now.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel bad for IG players all the time, because like, what have we gotten in the last 2 years? We've gotten Gaunt's Ghosts and some new Catachans and a bunch of heroes.
Yeah, it's not even like it's new Catachans, it's just new sculpts.
Yeah, it's just new heads for the same Catachans.
I have heard that, well, I guess we did see the updated guard box that's coming out with the different posed arms and like the...
Yeah, those are out now. Like, God's Ghost and that box came out last weekend. At the same time as we launched Age of Sigmar 3, just in case we needed to know where guard are on the, like, how important am I to GW scale. Hey, we're gonna release this entire game, also some guard.
Yeah.
I have a super big soft spot for the guard.
I don't know. Astra Militarum are fine. The ones that I love the most are no longer being produced in any way, shape, or form, except for one model that doesn't make sense because the entire rest of the line is gone, so... No more Elysian Drop Troopers? Yeah. Meh.
Yeah, the only model they have left is the Valkyrie vehicle transport.
And they have no vehicles to transport it with, so...
Yeah, because they don't make the buggies
Said thank
anymore.
you for following Stasechs.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for the follow, my dude. Or my person? Listen, I'm gonna use dude as a gender-neutral term. Please don't take offense to it. I don't want to presume your gender, and I don't care. I really don't. Thank you, person. Thank you, fellow human being, or possibly Twitch bot. Anyway. Continue, Adam.
Yeah, like I don't know how particularly good the guard are on the board. I just really... Yeah, I don't think they've been good since like 6th edition. I don't know, 7th edition because they're really good in 7th because of formations.
Also, basilisks. Basilisks in the back line, and take your allies in. Take your assassin allies at any rate. Like, take your assassinorium. Anyway. Yeah.
I've always kind of liked the guard minis. I was kind of disappointed because, like, right as I was getting into the hobby, like around, I got into it like in 4th edition, but when I moved to Calgary and was like close to hobby stores, which was the beginning of 5th edition, is when the Cadians came out, and those kind of slowly phased out, like, the other, I guess, the pewter sculpts that they had, so like the Valhalla Ice Warriors,
Vostroyans, Elysians,
Vostroyans came out later.
Did the Vostroyans come out later? I thought that they were...
The Vostroyans are, oddly enough, in the scheme of Games Workshop, and specifically like the IG, the Vostroyans are probably the newest ones.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, they came out, I want to say probably between 2008 and 2010.
Huh. The
they
more
weren't
you
around
know.
for very long because, like, again, like they're all pewter. Like, all of it is pewter. And you never saw them in battle reports or competitions because to have a viable force is... Like, we always joke about, like, you know, building an army in 40k is like thousands of dollars. A box of 10 guys with Vostroyans is like $80.
Said Vostroyans are the newest guard.
Huh. Thank you, man. See, other people can confirm your things. Thanks, Jester.
Yes. Yeah, I do have a squad of Vostroyans. I think Sean and I had like 4 of them. We were only missing like 2 minis from the command squad. One was the officer and the banner bearer. I really liked the banner bearer because he had a really cool scimitar, and he looked like a Cossack.
Fair enough.
I do really enjoy their fluff and like their background.
Hey man, everything that I wanted to do with the Elysian Drop Troops was basically because I love Starship Troopers. So, yeah. The entire idea of the mobile infantry being a let's throw paratroopers from orbit at your planet sounds great to me. So, sounds like a type of tactic I could get behind as far as ridiculous ways to wage war with Marines in space. Honestly, Deep Strike should be a tactic that works literally every time in my opinion, but I'm not in charge of things. Also, I'm gonna put this up. TSR has gone again. I know I think this was actually one of the ones where you couldn't make the stream. I talked about my love TSR and how Ernie Gygax was bringing back TSR again, and they were talking. Everybody was being nice. It was gonna work. Hasbro was gonna like let TSR let Ernie use TSR's old brand and all the rest of it, and that has all since fallen apart because of course it has. So we started July. I kid you not, we started July with 2 different companies called TSR that were making gaming products. We are down to 0. Because, and I cannot stress this enough, Hasbro sucks. Up yours, Hasbro. For all sorts of reasons. Did you know that Hasbro used Irish nuns to box copies of Monopoly for like 15 years? And by nuns, I definitely mean like captive slaves in Northern Ireland. At any rate.
I did not know that, but that is also not surprising.
Yeah, it's never shocking when you hear like they. At any rate, Hasbro bad. Hasbro continues to be bad. I hate that they own 2 properties that I love so much because I do love Magic the Gathering and I do love Dungeons and Dragons, and it's unfortunate that Wizards of the Coast is a part of Hasbro's evil empire, but also.
Yeah. And Transformers.
And Transformers, and He-Man, and like a half dozen other Micro Machines I think are also Hasbro that I love.
Micro Machines were awesome.
Right? I don't know if kids these days play with Micro Machines. I'm certain they don't, but like I loved Micro Machines as a child. They were the best.
I had so many, and like I had both factions too. Like for the army Micro Machines, so I had like I always called them the GDI because like the good guys were tan and the bad guys were gray. So I just always called it GDI and Nod.
Fair enough.
I had so many of both, and they were always so cool.
Death
I
82.
think my dad
and Hero
still
Quest.
has my Micro Machines somewhere.
Yeah. Just or Death, good point. They also still own the Hero Quest license, which is why we have Warhammer Quest Silver Tower, and then whatever happened with Curse City. I cannot. We'll go back to the painting cam. There are so many things about Curse City that make me so disappointed in Games Workshop. Not the worst of which was them being like, what? We never promised that this was going to be an ongoing release. Delete those tweets, delete those tweets, delete those tweets. We all saw you do it. We all saw you do it, GW. You're not lying to anybody. But yeah, Games Workshop still owning the original Hero Quest and putting up the like Hasbro Kickstarter thing that they did with the reissue. I wasn't gonna put up $400 for a new copy of Hero Quest. I had it as a kid. That was not my first D&D like experience, but it was pretty close. That was the one that I actually convinced my family to play. So, but did you ever play Hero Quest, Adam?
Yeah, one of my cousins had Hero Quest, and he taught me how to play it. It was really fun. I painted the Warrior mini.
Fair enough.
That then became the basis for Warhammer Chaos Warriors.
Yeah, it did. The one that I loved the most out of that set was still the Gargoyle. That mini, to this day, I wish I had one. I know I can go on the internet and I can steal the 3D model and print my own. I am absolutely aware of that. I haven't. I don't know why. There's no real good reason why I haven't yet. But I haven't yet. At some point, I will paint that mini. Because I do love that mini.
Yeah, like I do have some third-party recasts and 3D printed bits from various places. I honestly only bought the recast because Forge World doesn't have the KOK Grenadiers.
That's fair. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't buy third-party stuff. If that's what you want to, like... There's lots of creative dudes out there who are making better versions of Warhammer or like of GW products than GW is sometimes making. Just don't buy the ones that are like recasts of like special and important models from small creators. And I'm not talking about GW. I'm never talking about GW. GW is like a $3 billion company now. But I am talking about like don't go buy the creature cast or recast. That's just mean. Or Chimera models or Scale 75 models. They rely on that sort of stuff. That is families that you are stealing money from. When you're stealing from GW, you're essentially stealing shareholder value, which I don't care. Go for it. Seems like a worthy thing to steal.
Yeah, like
Not that I would advocate or this channel in any way advocates the stealing of intellectual property from Games Workshop. Sideways shifty eyes.
Not at all. Yeah, like it was just unfortunate for me that like when I got into like I always wanted to get into DFKOK, but Forge World prices being what they are, and being Canadian.
Yep.
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 It's expensive.
It is very expensive. I mean, Forge World period is expensive for I think everybody now. Like, I think even in like the people who live next to Warhammer World are like, you know, this Forge World stuff is real expensive, and that's what leads me to believe that they are attempting to kill Forge World without having actually killed Forge World officially. So,
Forge World, to kind of go back to what it was before. So when I first got into the hobby, Forge World was... They didn't do like big massive kits like they do now. Like, you know, they did do all of the 28mm heroic scale Titans. So like the big Titans, like all the, you know, there was Chaos versions of them, of all the Imperial ones. Like I mentioned before, they had the Gargantuan Squiggoth for the Orcs and a big Stomper.
Said Forge World is more expensive in us due to the Screw Australia tax GW have.
Really cool Eldar ones. They have the Tyranid Bio Titan as well. And then a lot of their other stuff was like they had, for normal 40k stuff, they had the Elasians, those were always around. But a lot of like the other stuff like Space Marines or Chaos like that was just like kind of booster kit sort of things. So it's like, oh hey, like they were the ones that made like all like, you know, the old like Imperial Fist shoulder pad packs, or the White Scars pack the old White Scars pack that I have that's all resin.
Oh heck, even like the old transfer sheets and all the rest of that stuff. That all used to be Forge World. Like,
yeah, and they also used to do really highly detailed busts and statues, and they don't do that anymore.
The one thing that I wish that they would bring back, which Forge World briefly did, and this was only in support of one game, was the 54mm scale for 54mm Inquisitor. They had other stuff that wasn't just what came in the Inquisitor game. They had all the support stuff for Inquisitor, was also Forge World. And boy, howdy, do I wish I could get my hands on some of that stuff. But I'm not willing to pay the ridiculous, like there is a comic book shop in Calgary that has a 54mm. What is it? It's Black Templar, and they want like $200 for it. There's no way I'm paying that. And yes, Jester is absolutely correct. GW hates Australia because they forgot how close Australia actually is to where their factories are. I mean, it's just south. Like, the factory's in Shenzhen. Like, you literally just need to go a little ways south and you run into the east coast of Australia at that point in time.
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't be as big a deal as they're making it.
Hate its colonies?
Oh yeah, we may have the Queen on the...
hatred of Canada is just because of our proximity to the US.
Yeah, we have the Queen on our currency. You'd think that would count for something, but like, no. You know what does count for something though? Shareholder value. Anyway, I'm gonna stop complaining about that forever. Well, maybe not forever. I'll stop complaining about that for right now. Just, there's a reason why we aren't actually their target audience anymore. And that'll catch up with them. But maybe it won't. We'll all get... I am actually, you know what? I am excited about this era of GW. I do love that they're at least out there pretending they care about us right now, which is significantly better than other areas of GW's existence where they just resented the hobby and everybody who bought their products. Because there was a period of time where they really hated all the nerds. Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, we just want money now, so we're gonna change the game 40K fundamentally to be
pay to win?
based around formations. So it's like, oh hey, like, you know, you're one Rhino and like you're one, I'm just using Space Marine stuff just because that's what I'm most familiar with. Like one Rhino and one Predator and like one Land Raider and one Dreadnought are now no longer viable because you have to have a minimum of 3 to be able to take it in your army.
Yeah. GW has done some dumb things over the years. That's for certain.
So one of the best battle reports I saw from 7th edition was a guy who took a oddly enough, one of the times I saw a battle report with DKOK.
Okay.
And unfortunate for his Tau opponent, that was also the edition that the Tau battle line came out, so they're moving fortification.
Yep.
Which I really hate.
It's a Tau Tide Wall is what it's called.
Yes. The Tau player got really cocky, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go against the DKOK." All of his heavy support stuff, like he had no Lehman Russes or no Chimeras or Hellhounds or anything like that. It was Basilisks and Medusas.
Okay.
That was it. After his first round of shooting with those, there wasn't really a lot of Tau left on the board.
No, that doesn't surprise me. Indirect fire in 7th edition, I mean, even with blast cones, what was it called when you could scatter dice in 7th, where indirect fire could go off in the middle of nowhere. Still seems devastating to have just hundreds of Hellfire missiles to fire at people. At any rate, go ahead.
Yeah, it was really cool. That was kind of one of the things I was like that I enjoyed about the formations aspect of it was you could have a gun line of support tanks, and it made them a little bit more viable for the game because through 5th and 6th, things like the Basilisk and the Medusa, and the Death Strike launcher and stuff kind of fell out of use and popularity because in 5th and 6th the game was a lot more about fast pace, so you're seeing a lot more guard armies where squads were in Chimeras and Hellhounds, and that's even before flyers were allowed in like tabletop 40K, so like you weren't able to drop in guys with like Valkyries or anything because they weren't a thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and there was aspects of 7th I really enjoyed, but at the same time I was like, this is just a money grab, because basically they're like, hey, you can take formations, but then you can, you know, if there's another army that has, you know, a similar keyword as you can take them as an ally. And you were seeing people just like they would do a garbage mix force of just like all of the most powerful units from each like allied faction, and just, you know, power meta game.
Yeah, that was back in the... I think those were like the first bat reps that I ever watched was 7th edition, and it was hilarious to watch GK and Assassinorium armies just wipe the floor with everybody else, because you teleport in your GK Terminator squad into the middle of their army while you kept a single assassin that was completely invisible, or a couple of assassins. You'd run like a Calexis and Eversor around, just so you could, you know, play your witchy good times, have your psychery shenanigans going on.
And Eversor combo. So the long-range sniper assassin mixed with the berserker human bomb.
Yeah, and then just deep strike your GK death bomb wherever you needed it to go. Because if I remember correctly, they could just teleport in and out of the board during like the paladins at very least could. I think you had to have a chapter master with them or whatever the chapter master equivalent was, but
A Grandmaster, I think.
sure. Grandmaster with them. I don't remember 7th edition tactics that much. This was like right as I first started painting GW stuff, was the end of 7th edition, so. I mean, I'd been interested in GW stuff, but like, heck, I wasn't even allowed to have like Pokemon cards, so. And I mean, like, as a child, I wasn't allowed to have Pokemon cards. As an adult, I bought them anyway. I've never played a game of Pokemon, but like, you know, gotta rebel against that youthful, gotta take advantage of that youthful rebellion as an adult, right? Like, I can't do this. I couldn't do this as a child, but now I can. Now I'm happy. This is what being an adult means, right? Eating cake and buying Pokemon cards whenever I felt like it. Yay, adulthood.
Yeah, that's actually pretty fair. I definitely had a piece of cake and coffee at like 5 in the morning today while I was waiting to hear if I was going to work.
I got up this morning and made myself chocolate muffins because I was like, you know what I want to eat this morning? Chocolate muffins. You want to know what I have none of today? Responsibilities. So this morning I got up and made myself chocolate chip muffins. Well, myself and my roommate chocolate chip muffins because.
Yeah, like it was still raining until like 7, at least over by me.
Yeah, it quit around here at like 5:30 or so. I remember waking up when the rain finally stopped because it was a thunderstorm pretty much until, I don't know, 6 or so.
Like a rock, so I didn't hear anything. And oddly enough, like for being kind of Rocket, like not phased by the thunder at all, which is pretty sweet.
Neither of my dogs are phased by thunder and lightning either, which is great because that's a thing that just happens around here a lot and increasingly in the future. Continuing to work on our horns. I'm just coming through now. So there's a lot of texture on these horns, and what I'm trying to do right now, more than anything, is I want these there's like these deep pits in the horns that you guys can see that I've got sort of on these lower parts now that I'm working through. That extends further up into the actual horn itself, and although I don't want them to be as dark as they are on the bottom part of the of the horn, I do want them to at least be present on the model. So I'm just gonna flood in some more green into those areas as I sort of even out what we're doing down towards the bottom of them. So I put on my first layer of highlights with coming back with our regular, like with our bonish color, our bony color, the Boninian green bone, which is a combination of birch and fall green. Now I'm just coming back with our boreal forest, and I might come back with black too, just to really darken the bases of this. But we're just gonna kind of keep it there. I'm gonna give this a few minutes to dry. We'll give you a little bit better close-up view here if we can get, there we go. There's some camera focus. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. We're introducing more of the cool colors into our helmet here. Got to remember that the direction of our light source is coming from this way, so we are going to do a little bit more lightning on this and on this part. But yeah, we're pretty much cleaned up on the shield. There's still a little bit of unevenness just right around here that I can see, but we might leave that until after I come back and do the non-metallic metal on the rest of this. But we're going to take a quick break here because I have a feeling that my roommates are making food right now, and now I am sort of hungry, but mostly thirsty. So I'm gonna go downstairs, examine what that is. But in the meantime, if you guys would like to find Adam, how could people do that?
People can find me on Instagram at beach_vacation_Mando and see my very sparse documentation of my journey into Mandalorian cosplay. I really need to take more photos because I have done some work. I do have all the pieces off the prototype helmet that I'm going to use off. I just have to now get them attached to my helmet and then get some more filler primer on there.
Nice. If you were looking for me, you can always find me. I'm Steve Thomas. Choice Minis on Instagram, or you can always email both of us at choiceminis@gmail.com. If you want, we're about to put up a slideshow. If you want to contribute to the slideshow, we're always happy to feature work of you guys. So, you know, if you maybe have, I don't know, say some a clone shadow pack that you're particularly proud of, Red Wolf, maybe you could contribute that. Or if you have anything else that you want to put in the slideshow, or anybody else wants to put in the slideshow, you can email it to us, or you can share it with us through DM, or just put it on the Discord. We have a Discord. You can find all of those links and stuff on the bio on both Twitch and in the description for the YouTube video. But we'll be back in about 10 minutes or so, so we'll see you guys then.
Jesteropath82. Said I'm on my lunch break, now I can concentrate on what you're doing. Jester of Death 82 said that green stands out really well from the brown. Jester of Death 82 said also, if you've been talking, can't hear you.
Definitely always pick up the G-Dub ones.
Oh, I have definitely been talking, Jester. We thank you for bringing that up. We've been on mute for the last like half hour because that's what we've done. That's just plain old incompetence on my half.
Oh man, we talked about so much neat stuff.
Yeah, man. You guys missed an entire awesome conversation that we will recreate now. Norse gods are cool. Fill in. GW is very good at making minis.
Yes, they are. Horrible company. Really good minis.
Listen, even the horrible company part, they try every once in a while to not be horrible at it. And they're less horrible than they were at like when I first got into GW. That's for certain. Yeah, I was just, as far as commentary on the model, I'm really trying to bring some, like, motion to the model itself. The pose that this guy has is very, very solid. It's very, very centered. It's very, very static in its pose. The model itself is great. Like, compositionally, it's great, but I'm trying to bring some more movement into the model by where we're placing this green. So we're placing it basically in a circle. So we're gonna have a purple circle that goes around the outside, and that's gonna catch some of the other stuff with the wings and stuff. We're gonna have this smaller inside green circle that's gonna come through this sort of area. That'll also come in on our staff and stuff. And then we'll have this much smaller purple circle in the middle with a couple of really bright flashes of purple. So these horns, the shield, his life gem here, like this little one that's in his tummy here, all of that stuff is going to work to create a circle. We're also going to have this yellow-green circle that's going to be the gold, like the non-metallic gold that we haven't gotten to yet. And that's going to help to bring some focus to the model and draw you to the face, but also to help create a little bit of motion and vibrancy to the model. Not that I think that this model is missing it per se, but it's just not as... There are lots of very energetic poses that you get from GW. This one happens to be one of the ones that's much more powerful and static than it is energetic. So just a little bit of a different model, like, I don't want to say modeling philosophy so much as it's just a very different aesthetic that they've chosen for this model in particular.
And I do find it is kind of appropriate for the model being in it. It's like, you know, as you mentioned, it is like a very rooted model, and it is a tree.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And I guess puns aside, but even when you get into like, okay, so this is that's one of their like that's just a Draika or a Dryad. Sorry, not a Draika. That is just a Dryad, but you can see like there's lots of motion to this model. It's leaning forward, it's lunging, it's yelling. We get a much more stoic, statuesque pose. He's got like 1 foot lifted. He is standing solidly on the ground. Even with his beetle friend on his back, he is very, very much rooted and planted and solid. And it is, I'm just trying to bring a little bit of motion into the model by creating this motion of color more than anything. Like that these colors are moving around the model in circles so that we have a well-composed model. I'm not saying that the like actual sculpture is bad. I'm saying that the sculpture is purposefully static. He is a hero, or it is a hero of the forest kind of a deal. So like, yeah, that's where we're at. Gonna keep. Sorry, I just mixed a little bit of our fall green into the orange that we painted these leaves originally, and I wanted to pop these leaves right now because I need to stop working on that green for a few minutes so that I can let my mind continue to go to other places.
So, in good news now about MechWarrior 5 is PG is aware of the issues caused by their patch, and they are working on a hotfix for it.
Things that don't surprise me. Hey, we broke our game real bad. Also, there is some poor engineer out there who is like, I am so sorry, everyone. And everyone's like, dude, everyone has released bad patches. It happens. Don't play on the live server anymore. Stop that. Here is a dev environment. Do not leave this for the next 14 days. Till someone else has signed your work.
Yeah, I did experience the issue that everyone was having. It did take me it wasn't until my 3rd mission that I actually had more damage than just having to like repair armor. Where actually and it was only the one mech, like my Highlander and my Mauler, I just had to repair armor, and then my Hunchback lost an arm and a medium laser, and that's when I noticed the medium laser, or like the kind of inventory bug, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess it is across all platforms now then. And then I was like, I will just load up the save right before, or the mission completion save, and quit the game and wait for the hotfix, which sounds like it's probably going to be early next week.
Oh, that's unfortunate, but still good on him for working on it quickly.
Yeah, the fact that the patch launched today, like this morning, and they're like, oh, it breaks the game. Okay, we will fix that. Please bear with us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what their dev server looks like, but normally that sounds just like a rollback, which should take like 4 seconds to implement, but I am not in charge of how their development server goes.
Jester of Death 82.
Yeah, I'm not
of
totally
games,
sure
a friend
if
of mine
there's
was
any
a
other
beta tester
issues.
for World of Warcraft. He swam from Eastern
I was
Kingdoms
here.
to
There was a
Kalimdor.
lot of people
He is
from
the reason
Steam.
we get
I think
fatigue
the
in deep
editor.
water.
It also affected like
Choice
the
is,
editor for
said
that
Jester of Death
modders
82
use.
dash please refrain sending long messages.
Because they were like, hey, we couldn't get everything we wanted to the game, but we've also now included the MechWarrior 5 editor pack, so you can make mods to add in the stuff you want. Like someone just released the infantry mod, and like they had everything, all the code, like all the stuff for infantry is in the game files. They're like, we couldn't implement it with the update or the DLC. If we did, it would have been like another 6 to 8 months before it was released, and we didn't want to push back anymore. It's all complete. We just can't add in the infantry. But they're like, hey, here's all the stuff we've so far done for the infantry. Modders, fill your boots. If you have any like technical questions or issues, just reach out to us and we'll help out. Which was pretty cool of Piranha Games, because they're not one of the better devs.
Well, just seeing Gesture of Death there in chat. Yeah, my big claim to fame for being in a beta that caused things to break is I am part of the reason for the security wrapper that happens on Google Homes. I don't want to get too much further into why that is a thing, but yep, part of the security layer around your Google Home packet information. Hi, I am responsible. I'm a little sad. I kind of should have waited with it until it went live, but I can't tell you exactly why. But I did get test hardware from Google for the original Google Home and then Google Home Minis. I've given beta products. You all know that there is fixed a long time ago on all of easy access. I didn't get the hardware beta, so I am 2 years in. Why your Google Home did things out loud about this. This was back when I worked for a nonprofit that was involved in this sort of wide distribution of consumer electronics. Again, I'm not allowed to talk about most of this. I don't know why I brought it up.
That's a good way to get off this topic. It's time for contest, Steve.
Is it time for a contest of champions?
It is time for a contest of champions.
Let's click that button. Let's click the actual button though.
Yeah, because I want
it's time for a contest of champions. Jester, was that quieter or louder than last time? I feel like that was quieter, but a contest of champions. So this is a contest where two champions, one nominated by Adam, one nominated by myself, enter into a series of ridiculous contests. Contests designed by you, the audience, or in this case, it's designed by me, the sadistic person who designs weird contests. But this week, we have two new champions, as last week...
just tell your champion.
Yeah. So last week, we had an ascendancy to the Hall of Champions, so we had... Well, I guess it wasn't last week. Wow, it was 2 weeks ago.
Jesteropt82 said still loud as balls.
All right, well, I'll continue to work to make it less loud as balls.
Still loud as balls.
Yep.
How annoyed do you think Raceland is with Jack Black right now, or specifically Jables?
I believe that Raceland and Jables are sitting on opposite ends of the Hall of Champions. Neither of them have talked to each other. Jables absolutely terrified of Raceland because, like, the first thing that Raceland does is just like put up many impenetrable walls of flame.
Jack Black, Jables is just like lighting sticks to light the bong of destiny with off of the wall of fire.
Pretty much. Okay, So on to our new contest of champions. We each nominate a champion. You guys give us contests for them to fight in. So sometimes it's a fight to the death, but normally it is something else. And in this case, we get to spin a wheel and figure out what that something else is. Adam, why don't you tell us about who your champion is this week?
So my champion is a very, a really unknown Marvel hero from the early 90s. He's actually my favorite Marvel superhero and possibly my favorite superhero of all time. His name is Slapstick, aka Steve Harmon. He was born on a dark and stormy night, the product of a 76-hour labor. And he was always kind of a weird, twisted kid, and then he went to the Dark Carnival, not the Juggalo Dark Carnival. This is definitely pre-ICP. And ran afoul of some interdimensional demon clowns. And was then
Are you sure he didn't go to the Juggalo Dark Carnival?
I'm
Did he drink a lot of Faygo?
No, there was no Faygo.
Oh, well, disappointing.
Yeah, he was then rescued, sort of, by the Scientist Supreme of Dimension X, who then turned him into Slapstick, which is The reason why he's my favorite character, or my favorite superhero, is because he has all of the powers of a Saturday morning cartoon, so think like Looney Tunes.
Oh yeah.
And his, the way he is now made when he's slapstick and not Steve Harmon, he is invulnerable. Like, you can disintegrate him at the molecular level, and he will still come back, given enough time. Because he's a cartoon. Like, cartoon characters, like slapstick cartoon characters don't die.
Yeah.
They get really messed up, but they always come back.
Oh yeah, no, you can shoot Elmer Fudd in the face with a shotgun from point blank, and he is gonna be in the next sequence. So yeah.
Yeah. He does favor giant, oversized clown mallets as a personal weapon. He is one of the handful of Marvel characters that break the fourth wall, most famously being Deadpool.
And She-Hulk.
And She-Hulk. Slapstick actually is a member of the Mercs for Money with Deadpool. Yeah, he fights along the side of the Punisher, Spider-Man, Ghost Rider. He only has 3 of his own standalone comics, and the rest of his stuff is just all appearances and other people's, including Infinity War.
Infinity Gauntlet, not Infinity War.
Infinity Gauntlet, yeah, because he survives the...
Because he shows up after the original Infinity War run. There is basically a second version of that. If you're ever wondering which one is which, Infinity War is the 1980s run, Infinity Gauntlet is the late 90s.
Yes, he's also in World War Hulk. The first 2 issues, I guess.
Wouldn't surprise me that he would end up in the World War Hulk, especially the early part of World War Hulk. I love Slapstick. I didn't realize that he was like a lesser known. He is one of the like ones that I really like. So I was when he's like he's a lesser known.
I know that knows about him.
Really?
I've mentioned to like Aaron and Dan and like Jesse. Aside from like my brother, who's the one who gave me my Slapstick trading card, which I still have. I have his rookie card.
Neat.
It's actually in front of me right now in my binder of Marvel Heroes collector's cards and G.I. Joe collector's cards, because that's the kind of nerd I am.
And what a type of nerd to be.
Right. Other kids collected hockey cards and baseball cards. I collected superheroes and G.I. Joe cards.
Listen, man, I still have a Silver Surfer card that is hanging out in my parents' attic because Silver Surfer is the best.
Yeah. So yeah, you're one of 3 people I've never had, or one of 2 other people I've never had to explain who Slapstick is and what Slapstick is.
Oh yeah, no, I fully accept that no matter... Well, there might be a contest in here that I can win with my champion, since I'm taking Gollum. I am taking Gollum from the books, not from the... I'm just gonna take Gollum from The Hobbit. Let's go with Gollum from The Hobbit. Gollum doesn't get better powers. Gollum just wants his precious. So, yeah, let's see what we are competing in. We're gonna spin the wheel here. Hang on 1 second. I gotta save these settings. Save the settings. And then let's give the wheel a spin. Okay, we are finally gonna do it. It is finally the IKEA challenge.
Oh yeah.
So, the IKEA challenge is that both of our champions have to, with their significant other, purchase, transport, and assemble an IKEA Malm bed and mattress as fast as possible to their home, assemble it, and cause as little fight as possible. So, who is going to be Slapstick's significant other that he teams up with?
The thing is, like, he never has one in...
He has there's at least one comic where he has a clone of himself, where a clone of himself does some sort of cartoony BS.
Oh no, he does have a girlfriend though.
Oh.
In the first topic, he has a girlfriend because that's who he goes to the carnival with.
Oh right, you are. Yes. Okay, sure. Yeah.
I'm picking Heather, his girlfriend.
All right. I am taking Deagle, obviously. Deagle, my love. This is not going to end well for me. I can already tell you this.
Said Gollum's significant other is Sauron.
Ooh, yeah, is my significant no, because Sauron doesn't like Gollum. Sauron uses Gollum. I'm gonna go with Gollum's significant other is Deagle.
The ring, is it Sauron that uses Smeagol or Golem, or is it the ring? Because ring itself is semi-sentient, is it not?
It is. It has Sauron's will. It is imbued with Sauron's will. So whether or not it is sentient, it wants to return to its master, and its master is Sauron. Oh boy, I don't think that Sauron counts as being, like, I don't care. Adam, would you rather that I have a giant flaming eye as a significant other, or a hobbit who is going to get choked out in the first 4 minutes?
A hobbit. I mean, Golem's gonna kill Eagle, or Sauron's gonna kill Golem.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna take Sauron, a giant flaming eye, as my significant other, even though he doesn't really think of me in that way. I'll always think of him as Gollum's significant other. It's unrequited significant otherry here. The only other option here is that it's Bilbo. So I'm gonna go with Sauron. All right.
If you pick Bilbo, you would definitely lose, because there would be the biggest fight over riddles.
Oh yeah, no, immediate. It doesn't matter. Okay, Gollum is going to get in a fight. He's Gollum.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Slapstick and I guess
we both
Steve Harmon and Slapstick. I guess. Well, they're the same person.
So
later on, he gets trapped as Slapstick. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, that's fine. Gollum and a giant flaming eye wander out of the IKEA and look around for a way to transport their IKEA mattress and bed frame back to their house, which I assume that they live together in like a 400th story walk up inside of Orthanc.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long walk. Just saying. Neither of them appear to have cash of any sort. Like, I don't understand how people are loyal to Sauron. There doesn't appear to be a lot of money changing hands there. Seems to kind of treat like all of his minions kind of dirt. So they're immediately going to have to start hauling this thing home. So Gollum is going to drag the mattress and bed frame through the IKEA parking lot, yelling loudly as Sauron just silently floats in the form of a flaming eye, being literally no help.
So Slapstick and his girlfriend Heather are, they're gonna walk out of the IKEA like normal folk. And they're just gonna load it all into Slapstick's mom's minivan and just drive back home in old Plainview, New Jersey.
As Gollum is like 3/4 of the way through the parking lot, he is definitely going to become exceptionally frustrated with Sauron and start cursing at him and yelling things like, "We hate you! We hate you, precious! The ring should be ours!" I'm so glad it's
this challenge.
Gollum! Just, they're still in this parking lot and the fight has already started at this point. I've decided that they are already fighting. Sauron, I don't know how, but like, makes an exasperated sigh. Like, you can't really, like, you didn't think that an eye would be able to make an exasperated sighing sound, and yet somehow he manages. He's already fed up with Gollum's just being Gollum.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So, they're Slapstick and Heather drive back, jam into tunes, whatever it is kids these days are listening to. I don't know. I just found out that most teenagers don't really watch like network TV anymore. They mostly just watch like YouTube.
Hey, I mostly just watch YouTube.
That's fair. Yeah, so they...
Wait, am I a child? No, I'm 36. I am not a child. Trust me.
They're just jamming, chilling, being teenagers, because that is Slapstick is a teenager. He's 16 when he becomes Slapstick.
All right, being fed up with with Gollum, Sauron summons a Nazgul and a Fellbeast to come and fly over and grab the bed. And Gollum, and the mattress. Sauron somehow just reappears at the top of, sorry, not Orthanc, Barad-dûr. So he just reappears at the top of Barad-dûr and goes back to searching for the ring.
82 said network TV here is terrible.
Network TV everywhere is terrible. I mean, I don't feel any better for you living in the land of Rupert Murdoch, but like, network TV is bad.
Yes, it is. I haven't had basic cable since I moved out of my parents' house, and it's been mostly like stacks and stacks of DVDs, and recently Netflix and Disney Plus.
At least we get like Disney Plus and some of the stuff that the States gets. Like, we don't get Hulu and stuff, but like at least we get some of their streaming media, because good God, I've seen the situation in Australia, or heard of the situation in Australia from like friends and stuff who still live over there, and nope. At least we don't have to deal with everything being the option of basic cable, or stealing it, or having to have 600 different streaming services.
Yeah.
Most of which are funded in some way by Australia's cable service, it sounds like. At any rate, riding swiftly in the jaws / claws of a Fellbeast, I assume that Gollum is like in the jaws of the Fellbeast, so most people...
he's probably just screaming.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely causing just a big ass ruckus. And like, Sauron does not care. He's like, we are transporting our bed home. Why can't you stop screaming? Why can't you stop screaming?
You said they already had a fight, correct?
Oh yeah, no, they have fought several times by this point in time. I mean, like, the fight started immediately upon like entering into the IKEA. This is a fight that they have been having their entire lives.
Does that not mean they have already lost? Because the goal is to not fight?
The goal is to, with minimal fighting. You never know.
Minimal fighting.
Steve might get in a fight with his girlfriend. Stupid slapstick.
Jester of Death.
Yeah,
82
I was, because I remember
said it by
after the last one, you told me who you might pick, so I was like, I think Slapstick could take a Jaeger. Maybe.
Probably.
Anyway, so they arrive back at Slapstick's parents' house in the old Plainview, New Jersey. I actually want to know if Plainview is real. I'll look that up later.
I believe it is.
It probably is. So, you know, they haul it all in, grunting and pushing and sweating, cursing stupid IKEA furniture and the fact that it's very fragile at the same time as being extremely heavy.
As the Fellbeast throws Gollum and the bed and the mattress through a window in Barad-dûr, a goblin taskmaster is somehow already been summoned to the room and is like yelling at Gollum to assemble the furniture. Gollum just sits in the corner and weeps bitter tears to himself as he is forced.
Gollum cry?
Oh yeah.
Gollum ugly cry?
Yeah, he's just doing a big old Gollum ugly cry in the corner as he wishes that he could just have the precious again. Filthy, nasty hobbitses.
So, you know, Slapstick and Heather are assembling it. You know, it's taking a bit of time. They're teenagers.
They have to stop 4 times to break it in?
Yeah, they got to break that mattress in first. And you know, they're teenagers in a modern world. They've built their own IKEA furniture before. They know how to interpret the weird Swedish pictographs that are they're the worst directions ever.
I like the weird Swedish pictograph hieroglyphic situation. Do not assemble without a friend.
Yes, I've definitely assembled a lot of stuff without a friend from IKEA. I also
As
moved a
have
lot of
I.
IKEA stuff, and that's kind of why I hate IKEA stuff, but that's the curse of being a mover for like 6 years.
Fair enough.
So yeah, you know, they're building away. It's starting to look like a bed frame. the mattress and the box spring are just leaned against the wall, waiting to be flipped down and ready to break in that bed frame. I was gonna say box spring for some reason.
Yeah, Gollum continues to ugly cry in the corner until a team of orcs comes in and just assembles the bed for him, and then he dances around, pretending that he was the one to have actually assembled it. He has had literally zero contribution to the assembly of this furniture.
Yeah. So without incident, minor, a lot of giggling on Heather's part and a lot of swearing on Slapstick's part. Despite him being basically being a cartoon, he is still a foul-mouthed 16-year-old boy for his initial run of comics, and then he does age actually fairly appropriately through the rest of his appearances. Like by his appearance in Deadpool on the Mercs for Money, he has nieces and nephews by his stepsister.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, but this is teenage Slapstick though. And she giggles, he swears, they assemble the bed. They flip it down, he flops down, she flops down, and we're not going to talk about what else happens because that's creepy and weird. Because they're teenagers.
Okay, well, let's tally it up. So, after the Gollum, we're going to go with at least 16 fights. I'd say that at least 16 fights have happened while Gollum has been forced to do any amount of manual labor.
Yes.
Or in any way be useful, other than yelling about the precious.
Or eating raw fish.
Or eating raw fish, yep. Those are basically his things. I'm not sure
why. He does
why
catch rabbits barehanded, though. He
does catch rabbits barehanded, and he also schemes and plots. All of those things are things that Smeagol Gollum can do. Gollum himself, not good at the whole manual labor aspect of things. I am more than willing to say that Slapstick is this week's champion, because it certainly isn't going to be Gollum who is this week's champion.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is the contest that we were both waiting for so long to happen.
Agreed.
I remember when we thought of this one initially, and we giggled like children about it, and just been like thinking of different combinations of champions and spouses that would just fail utterly at this.
I gotta say that Gollum and Sauron probably not the dream team that I would take to this challenge had I known that this was going to be what we were facing to this week, but
yeah, I was like
still impressed that Gollum showed up at all.
Yeah, the fact that Gollum stuck around for the majority of it, like, okay, to be fair, he didn't exactly have a choice after the Nazgul.
Oh, no, I feel that we should all pour one out for our buddy Gollum, who definitely was not in this by choice in any means. He is still a prisoner of Sauron's. It's just that he's going to get some freedom here to go and hunt the ring for Sauron later on. So, you know, everybody in that relationship hates that they are there. Sauron hates that he has to rely on Sauron or on Smeagol. Smeagol hates that he doesn't have the precious. It's just a big old dysfunctional relationship going on there. All right, so
I'm super glad. I've wanted to take Slapstick for a while, but I just didn't know. He actually might have done not bad against Raceland.
I have no idea.
It would have depended on the
contest. Yeah, that's the thing with the Contest of Champions is it's never a sure thing.
Yeah,
you can take
Jack Black is in the Hall of Champions. That's how weird the Contest of Champions can go.
Yep. And if you guys want to contribute to the Contest of Champions, you guys can always put in weird scenarios or just keywords or whatever you want into chat, and we will try and turn them into contests for our champions to fight over. You can also contribute by emailing your suggestions to choiceminis@gmail.com, or you can find us on our social media. Adam, what's your social media?
My social media is on Instagram. It's beach_vacation_Mando.
Yeah, or you can find me. I am Choice Minis on your social media platforms of choice. You can find me on Reddit and on TikTok and on wherever. Just send us a DM. Tell us what you think would be a fun contest to see a bunch of champions fight in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I did find for my Manda cosplay, I haven't bought it yet because it is a little pricey. But I found someone on Etsy who makes a E11D blaster. So that is the Death Trooper blaster.
Yep.
That has functioning light as well as the blaster sound module.
Ooh, neat.
And I do get to build it all myself, and it's about $230 Canadian. They are also Canadian. They're from Ontario.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, I'm gonna buy
82.
that and probably
Said rush hour traffic.
a couple other little parts to little greebly to wars it up a little bit, make it a little bit more custom for my Mando.
I love the suggestion, Jester.
Rush hour traffic.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh,
If
now
it
I
was
want to
rush
make
hour
a death race through rush hour traffic. So death race rules, where you just have to get to the end of the race. There are no rules about how you accomplish getting to the end of the race, but just defeat rush hour. I am the champion of rush hour. Oh man, that could be fun, depending on who it is. I mean, Lord Vader's road rage would be something to behold.
Yeah, that would be.
Oh man, you could take Starkiller and literally just Starkiller, you could toss all of traffic into the stratosphere.
Yes. As bad as those two games were, I enjoyed the story of them.
I played the first one and I didn't think it was bad. There was lots of people who were like, "This is not good," and I was like, "I'm sorry you don't like fun."
Terrible.
Oh, well, that's
the
sad to
second
hear.
one's, like it's the same gameplay, but just take out like the cool story.
I mean, the cool story in the first one was, I'm pulling a Death Star out, or a Star Destroyer out of orbit with the Force. So
Yeah. They basically make him even more God mode Super Jedi in the second one. They take out like some of the bits of like the story and the plot from the first one that I enjoyed. Like I enjoyed his interaction with his pilot a lot in the first one. And the second one, it just doesn't hold. It feels more like it's just a generic hack and slash that you could have taken Star Wars out of the title and like, you know, taken away like all like not taking away all the Star Warsy stuff, but it's like that one Star Wars book I have that's about Han Solo, and it's really just a generic sci-fi novel that they changed some names and stuff in and coined it as Han Solo and Chewbacca adventure, and it's very clearly not Star Wars. Yeah.
well, that's fair. I mean, not everything can be winners when you're, you know, I don't know. There was a long time where Lucasfilm licensing was just a complete mystery. It seemed like everything was allowed to license Star Wars, so
Yeah, there was definitely that point.
but that time
yeah.
is not this time.
No, like I enjoyed the first Force Unleashed, which is why I got the second one, and then I was disappointed by it. You might enjoy it. I myself did not. I was like, it's not the same.
That's fair. I've never played the second one, so... And my enjoyment of the first one was mostly like, dude, look at all the ridiculous powers this guy has. This is ridiculous and I love it. Which isn't necessarily like what most people are talking about when they're playing video games, but like, I don't know, I got to pull a Star Destroyer out of orbit with the Force. Like, I don't know, I can forgive a lot when I get to do stupid things like that in video games. Like, I'm not a good video game critic, let's put it that way. It's like, what? I get to do, like, force powers? 10 out of 10. Like, I'm the guy who still, like, looks back fondly on, like, Jedi Academy. So, like, I don't know.
I love Jedi Academy.
As everyone should.
One of the ones I have a guilty pleasure for is definitely probably Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, which is like their future one where Kevin Spacey's the bad guy.
Well, Kevin Spacey should be the bad guy in a lot of things, to be fair.
Yeah, this is true. And I really enjoyed the campaign. It wasn't until like the free game Warzone came out that I really kind of got into Call of Duty's online. But the part of that is like a super guilty pleasure that I just love is the Advanced Warfare Zombies, where they're like, hey, we have future exoskeletons for all our soldiers, kind of like the ones you see in Elysium that Matt Damon wears. But hey, what happens when those soldiers get bit by a zombie? You have zombies in powered exoskeletons now. It is ridiculous and stupid, and I love it.
That sounds like my justification for loving Pacific Rim, so...
Yes. Have you watched, you don't have, there's a Pacific Rim cartoon, CGI cartoon on Netflix. It's alright. It's definitely made for a younger audience.
Hang on. Before you go any further, do I get to see giant robots punching kaiju?
Yes.
Alright, then I'm in.
Yep. And as well as that, we are both a fan of the original Mobile Suit Gundam, and they do have the 3-part OAV on there as well, and Char's counterattack to kind of round off what happens to the protagonist and the antagonist of the original series. And I actually kind of forgot about how that ended, and yeah, they turn into magic space dust.
Listen, right now I'm just imagining all the fun I could be having while watching kaiju and robots punching, so you're not going to get anything real useful out of me for the next 30 to 45 seconds while I think of
totally
kaiju and giant robots punching each other.
While we're on the topic, out in Pacific Rim, which is your favorite Jaeger?
Crimson Dynamo, probably.
The 3-armed one?
Yep. That is the Chinese 3-armed one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Cherno 1.
Totally fair.
But that's, I just kind of have a...
I mostly love it for the, like, namesake. It's definitely named after Chernobog, which, of the, like, weird, Russian, Slavic pantheon, Chernobog's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So...
obviously, Gypsy Danger. I really enjoy Gypsy Danger. I like that. The Jaeger
it's so generic, though. That's my, like, major argument against Gypsy Danger is it is a very... Like, it's like the ZX1 from, like, Mobile Suit Gundam. Like, it is just... It's so iconic as to be generic, and that's less fun for me. Maybe it's because I'm a giant snob. It's because I'm a giant snob.
Yeah, I love Cherno 1. The whole aesthetic of that, and the fact that it has, like, a super hydraulic power fist punch just kind of, tickles me in the right spots. I like Gypsy Danger because of how it's described. How it's an older style one. It hasn't been updated like all the other ones, so it relies on instead of like giant diesel electric generators, it has a nuclear core. It just sounded older and cooler. But yeah, it is definitely out of the 4 you see in that movie. It is the most generic one. Then probably followed by Striker Eureka.
Striker Eureka is only in like one scene too.
They're in a couple.
They're in like the first battle where they just like get blown out of the water almost instantaneously, right? Or am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Cherno Alpha.
Oh, okay.
The first fight you see them in, they get hit by the EMP blast and shut down, and then get the one chomps the cockpit.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like it happens in the first 30 seconds to minute of that fight where the first double emergence happens. Yeah. Strike Eureka is the one, the Australian one with the 6 missile cannons in its chest.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the most advanced and whatever one where the main pilot at the end, or not the end, but the dad is basically like just grabs 2 flare guns. It's like, you could keep arguing, or you could come with me and we could do something really stupid. And they shoot a kaiju in the eye with flare guns. That strikes me as supremely stupid.
Did you forget Idris Elba's name?
No, the other guy, the ginger.
Oh, yeah, okay, never mind.
Dad. I really enjoy that actor. I've seen him in actually quite a few things, movies and TV shows.
Yeah, no, I can't remember his name. But also, can we all just take a minute to appreciate how phenomenal Idris Elba is in all of the things? Like, Idris Elba definitely elevates every movie he's in and every TV show. Just all the things.
Have you seen Fast and the Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw yet?
I have not. There's a 0% chance of me watching that movie, so...
Yeah, as much as I appreciate Idris Elba, and I do enjoy The Rock and Jason Statham, that was a bad movie. It's highly entertaining. Will I ever watch it again? No, it was not. I enjoyed. It was fun to watch. I know I say that about a lot of movies, but like, it was fun. It doesn't make sense in any fashion. I kind of basically just watched it for 2 scenes. Jason Statham and The Rock doing the haka at the end in front of a bunch of dudes with machine guns.
Okay.
And then it's really dumb. And for the Idris Elba line of, "I'm Black Superman."
And he is.
He is.
I would have taken Idris Elba as... Yeah, I wanted to see Don Cheadle, or not Don Cheadle. I wanted to see Idris Elba. I was really hoping that they were going to continue his character as, what's it called? He sees all of the 9 trillion souls across all the 9 realms.
Heimdall.
Heimdall, thank you. I would have loved to see him continue on as Heimdall in the MCU. It's unfortunate that he is dead pre-snap and therefore was not unsnapped. But yes, happens. Not much I can do about that.
Nope. Yeah, I agree with you. He's a really good actor.
And just a treasure. He seems like a gentle human being whom I love.
Yeah.
But also a gigantic badass who would crush my head with his hands if I was ever to do something to displease him.
This is true. I remember a few years ago when people were like, "Hey, we should do Black James Bond," and everyone's like, "Idris Elba," and I was like, I would watch the heck out of that movie. I would, like, I love James Bond. I really enjoy Idris Elba. I think he would make a good James Bond. And he came back with his like, "No, I won't do that." And people were like, "Well, why?" It's like, because James Bond's not African American or like black. He's
Idris Elba isn't also technically African American either.
Yeah, that's why I switched it to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, he said that like very politely. He's like, "No, like I don't want to change that much of the character." And people are like, "Oh, it's just." He's like, it would just cause too much issues. He's like, I really enjoy it. I've always enjoyed the films. Like, we were watching them. I love the character, read all the books, all that. He's like, I just have too much respect for that character to want to change it that much. He's like, but he's like, I do appreciate and love that you guys want me to be James Bond. But he's like, no, I just don't want to. That's not something a project he'd want to take on, I guess. He was very, very nice, and he worded it much better than I did.
That's totally fair, and he is allowed to do whatever he wants, especially to or near me. Like, if he wanted to step on me for some reason, I think I'd probably be okay with that.
Yeah, like if he stepped in dog poop and, he's like, "Hey, Adam, come wipe this off my shoes," I probably would.
Yep. I don't really know why. It's not purely sexual, but like, man is gorgeous.
Yeah, I won't deny that there's not some sexual motivation in that one. This is a topic that you, Dan, and I seem to have a lot, especially at D&D weekends when Dan and I have been into the sauce a bit. Was it the last one, the Five Rings adventure, when we were talking about the Dame Judi Dench?
Listen, Dame Judi Dench is like my celebrity crush of all celebrity crushes. She is just a beautiful lady. Always has been. She
could ask me to do whatever she wanted, and I would do it in a heartbeat.
She's just a wonderful lady in all sorts of ways. And like I get that not everybody is down for that, but like look at her. Fucking stunning, and she's like 80. At any rate.
So is Elvira, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, in a very different way. Yeah, I don't think I've actually met her. To be honest,
I met her at the Comic-Con. She was here.
Yeah, I know she was here for Comic-Con. I was meeting the people who worked at Cracked. So,
I didn't meet her at Comic-Con. I actually met her at Community when I worked there because she came in there and she was trying very hard
to not be noticed.
To not be noticed. Unfortunately, my coworker and friend Blair and I have, we spent many a drunken nights watching all of the Elvira movies, and there's a lot. There's so many Elvira movies.
There are so many.
And she was very, very polite about it, and she didn't want to make a big scene. We asked her if she's Elvira, and she's like, yeah, like I am, but I don't really want I don't want to make a big scene. We're like, oh no, that's cool. Like, do you need any help finding anything? And just went on treating her like a normal customer because she didn't want to make a big scene, and we could tell she was getting a little bit uncomfortable with the attention that we were giving her. And she wasn't unfortunately in a section that we didn't know anything about. So she's like, yeah, I'm looking for this. We're like, oh, okay, well, this isn't where we normally work in. We'll go grab a staff member who does, and they can assist you from there on. And then we went and nerd gushed in the back.
Totally fair. Hi, doggo. Sorry,
and
my
I
dogs
waved at her
are...
as I passed by her autograph table, and she smiled at me.
That's nice of her.
Yeah.
Hello, roommate.
Very pleasant encounter.
Sorry, I had dogs and roommates come running into my room. We've been... I don't know if you guys could hear. We've been borking in the background. You know what?
I hear borking, but I heard little tippy-tappies.
Oh, yeah. No, the tippy-tappies were the little dog entering my room. He has now been taken away by the roommate, so no more tiny sheeps. They're...
Which is laid directly under my feet, under my desk.
Yep.
About 2 feet away from his bed. If it's close to bedtime, Rocket will jump on the bed and not go anywhere near the side that Jamie sleeps on, and immediately lay on both my pillows.
Said Pupper.
Indeed. Hang on, I got photos of puppers. Let's share a photo of a pupper. Puppers.
I'm glad that Apollo did warm up to Rocket after.
Oh, that's just how he is. That is who my pupper is. There's my puppers. That's Artemis is the red one. Apollo is the black one.
Is the puppers.
There they are, being all puppers.
And those two combined are almost as big as my puppers.
I'd say they're about a quarter the size of Rocket combined. Combined, they are a quarter the size of Team Rocket.
Yes. Rocket is a Black Lab Collie mix. And he's not a very thick or heavy dog, but he is very tall. He has super long legs and is just a giant noodle.
I mean, he's got all of the legs of a regular old golden retriever, except for
Death 82. Said goodest puppers.
Aw, yeah, they are good puppers. Artemis just wandered in here because we've said the word puppers enough times to summon her, and she came in here looking for kibbles and then was like, I don't care, and left again, because I tried to touch her just for a second.
Rocket was basically like, I heard my name, and puppers, and noodle, which is also something I call my dog. And he perked right up and it's like, hey, are you done? Are we going to go do stuff? It's like, it's bedtime, Dad.
It is bedtime. And I hate to be that guy, but we are going to call it quits for tonight. We will be back tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching, commenting, and being with us today. I am Steve Thomas at Choice Minis. You can find me on your social media of choice at Choice Minis. Adam, where can people follow you?
Follow me on Instagram at beach_vacation_Mando and follow my journey into Mandalorian cosplay. I promise I will, if someone starts pestering me besides Steve, if someone keeps messaging me on that Instagram, I will probably post more photos. I haven't taken any. Jamie was going to take some for me, and then, well, life happens.
Life does happen.
Yeah.
We'll continue to work those horns tomorrow night. But in the meantime, if you liked what you saw, take a moment, give us a like, subscribe, follow, hit the little bell icon, say you want to get 1,000 different notifications from us, because otherwise nothing happens. If you have suggestions for more models that you'd like to see, segments, features, or, painting advice, techniques, tactics, things that you want us to feature on the channel, you can go ahead, send it to the DMs, put it in chat, put it in the comments, email it to choiceminis@gmail.com. You can support us by buying our merch off of choiceminis.com, or you can, donate, give us beer, coffee, whatever, or the best way, the absolute best way. I don't care about you guys buying merch. I don't care about you guys, the best way. Bring a friend. Get somebody else that bring them into the stream. We would love to grow the community that way. It would be awesome. Adam, I love you, buddy.
Love you too, dude.
We will see you guys here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock, right here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Do something about white supremacy. ACAB, and get vaccinated if you can. Love y'all. We'll see you tomorrow.